understood what I felt, understood what I was going through. So that all brought me to just being surrounded by negative energy, negative people, which blocked me from receiving my blessings as a young child. I wouldn't say the transition didn't start until after I dropped out of high school and my great aunt passed away of lung cancer.
Man.
That I was then able to see that I had to think a little further. I had to think a little deeper. I had to really reevaluate myself as an individual.
When you say think a little further, you think a little deeper. People have to understand that you aren't talking about everything what's around you. That's a self-reflection. That's like, dang, okay. Let me look at me for a minute, fam. Like this it's getting out of control. So tell us from that upbringing, from that start, tell us how you end up at Lawrence University. Because that's where we're walking right now, Lawrence University campus, private school, right?
Yep. How that all transpired is I opened my spirit to receiving help, the help that I needed. You know, because as a young black male, surrounded by street influence, gang activity, there's a lot of a pride that is hard to set aside, and then you block your blessings out because you're not open to receiving the help that you truly need if you want to grow.
Right.
So once I opened my spirit up to help, I was able to get back in school. You know, I was able to get back in high school.
After dropping out.
Dropping out.
It's another chance.
I went back, you know, and I went to alternative high school where I was able to receive the help that I needed. I took up counseling, you know, and I started being more active. You know, I used that energy I took to the streets and I used it in the gym. Started treating my body differently.
Right.
Once I started treating my body differently, my mindset changed. And more people saw that I was trying to grow. And it just attracted the right people into my life. And not just me, I worked along with many people that helped me get to this point. Graduated second in my class in high school.
See what I'm saying?
And received a full tuition scholarship to one of the best private universities.
A private university. Let's be, you know what I'm saying?
Private, predominantly white at that. Predominantly white.
Absolutely.
Received over $100,000 in scholarship money to come here.
Wow. And that's huge for people that make that initial screw up and then just wallow in it.
Right.
Versus those people who make that screw up and say, okay, like we talked about, that self-reflection, like, man, let me just hold on. Let me press pause for a minute and just reset. Let me hit the reset. We play video games at that. Man, let me hit the reset button, get a fresh 5 new lives, and let's start that thing up. Because when I met you, you was a freshman here at Lawrence. I was coming to the dorms, cutting hair, you know what I'm saying, getting it in. But even at that point, bro, I didn't see like this. You know what I'm saying? On a spiritual, on a mental level, I can see the growth. I can see how things changed and how it became something much bigger than you know, I think maybe even you was expecting at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? I think a lot of my change and a lot of my growth came from acceptance. You know, I've always saw myself in a light that was far different from my reality at the time when I was young. You know, in the dark. I always was able to visualize my reality to be far different from that. So I knew,
even though I'm living this isn't me.
Right. This is just my current reality. Right. This is my current reality.
Absolutely.
But moving forward, I always had a vision that was far greater than what that feeling was. Back to that feeling.
Yeah.
So I knew I just had to continue to fuel from that feeling, and eventually the right people will come along. The right resources will come along, and with that, the acceptance there was the difference maker, because it could all be there. It's always there.
Yeah.
But if you can't see it, one, and accept it, two, the third piece of it all is, you know, transpiring your life, changing your life will never happen. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with you, 100%.
So that was the difference maker. Me separating myself from what my reality was at that time, separating myself as in mentally and spiritually. Sure, physically I was still there. And my guys was all still in it. But spiritually I was removed from what they were moving toward.
Right.
Because I was moving toward a better me. the entire time.
And
Little did they know.
or even you.
Right.
Because I just had that thought though that it's more than this. It's more than this.
It's bigger.
And so coming to a place like Appleton, man, and we've been kind of talking about, you know, being a black entrepreneur or a black motivator or a black, you know, a successful black person in this area could be difficult, man.
It can be.
You know, especially if you haven't been exposed to this type of environment. Thankfully, before I got here, I was kind of exposed to a little bit more. And I think sometimes we don't have the same compassion that they may not have been. Tell me how many people since you've been here in Appleton, Wisconsin, that say, I've never seen or talked to a black person ever in my life before you.
Yeah, I hear it all the time, man.
And it's almost baffling. Like, what you mean? You ain't never seen it? Right. Talk to me about some of the struggles that racially you may have had in trying to attain what you got right now, man.
I think from, like, looking at me from the outside, like being here, I come across as intimidating because I mean, tattoos, you know, my stature, my language, you know.
It's vernacular.
It's vernacular.
Right.
That's right. You know, but to keep it 100, you know, I come from the hood, you know, so making that transition here was a little rough. It was a culture shock.
Yeah, that's the word we use.
So I had to learn how to adapt and code switch my way of thinking, not to the point where I'm not being myself anymore. You know, I still was authentic, but the struggle was trying not to transition too far into what they expected of me. Right? Like I had to still be me.
That's right.
With the intention of doing what I knew what I needed to do for me, rather than doing what they expected of me. If that makes sense.
No, it makes 100% sense, because me and Kay, my brother, we had a talk the other day when we were talking about this, and we talked about how you can visually see the expectations that some have in their minds when they first meet you. You can see it, but within one sentence of conversation, there's an instant, okay, maybe he ain't what I thought.
Right.
You can see that shift in perception. You know what I'm saying? And one amazing thing that bro said that I believe in is that I'm responsible for what others think of my race. I have a responsibility
for you.
For me.
Right. Not the entire.
Talk to me.
But for you, because that was the other piece. Not to cut you up, but that was another piece that made a difference for me, because when I first came here, it was like I had the feeling that I had to be the face for our race, you know, the black culture. Okay. And that's a lot to take on. But when
for anybody.
Right, but when you're singled out in a predominantly white space, it's hard to...
You are, whether you want to or not, kind of.
Right. Like you are a representation of the culture. But you have to internalize that thought and do it for you, not for the culture
You have
itself.
to individualize that as well.
Right. Like, yes, it is for the culture, but it
benefits me too.
It's for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you need to move
that I agree with.
Through you first, and the culture itself will take care of it. You know what I mean? But you can't feed into the stereotypes or the negative perceptions that they may have of you.
Right.
So again, going back to that feeling, I think just focusing on that feeling of being elevated, that feeling of being educated, that feeling of moving forward, taking myself to a whole new level, that feeling itself blocked out the racism, because it was always there. But I knew I just needed to focus on that feeling of being prosperous and remaining elevated and positive, that it almost built like a human shield around me. That
I feel what you're saying.
I walk with my head high.
That's right.
I walk with confidence.
That's right.
And I spoke my truth.
That's
and
right.
The people who were aligned with that feeling, move with me. The people who didn't, move around.
Right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I was telling bro the other day, I don't care what people say about me.
Yep.
You can say they're gonna say all kind of crap, bro. But I do care what I show you. I care what I show you I am. I care about the integrity that I show you I have. I care about what kind of character you say Chris has. I care about, you know what I mean, what you say, what I show you that I do for my family or the ones I love. That's important to me. You know what I mean? Because those are the things that I can control. I can control what you see coming from me.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I can't control what you see when you walk past me.
Yep.
You know, and so that's a tough situation, man. And so tell us now in this phase of Corey, you know what I mean? What are we doing? How is this community that may seem unideal, right? How is this community really showing you in what you're doing that they're behind you?
Because I mean, I like to motivate and inspire people. So again, just going back to that feeling, like pulling from my own personal journey, like I know what it's like to go through life struggle. And again, yes, I am a representation of the black culture, but the ultimatum is to move people, help people get to the next level, help people go through life challenges and have a breakthrough, have that turning point in their life.
Absolutely.
That helps them believe that they can and that they will get through it. So again, going back to that feeling, moving with that sets the intention. And my intentions set the tone for who comes in my life and who leaves out of it. So
you said moving with love.
Moving with love, moving with peace and gratitude.
That's right. That's right.
Has allowed my spirit to fall in the right place. And again, have the right opportunities at the right time, which is why I'm able to juggle so many different things.
Talk to us about some of that. What do you got your hands in out here? And family, listen to this, because this is somebody that you definitely want to be following, want to be keeping up with. He's always spreading knowledge, man. If you follow my man IG, Facebook, he gonna have a word of the day for you. Every day. So tell the people what you're doing now.
Well, full time, I'm a student learning advocate for the Green Bay Area School District. So I work with young people who come from challenging backgrounds that need that extra push and encouragement throughout the school day.
It's funny how you use your situation.
Right. Again, using that feeling.
You got experience in this.
Exactly.
Go
so
ahead,
it's far higher than the professional role itself.
That's right.
It's life experience that's allowing me to do this.
That
job.
means I can do it with love. That means I love to do it.
And authenticity.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
so people can, again, connect to the feeling.
Facts.
Right? So aside from that, I'm a life coach, so I work with people independently to help get them through life situations that may make it tough for them to move forward in life. I'm a part-time fitness coach.
Okay. So, get your body right.
Right.
Y'all see me. Hey. I might have to get him out the. I'm trying to convince him to come to Phoenix, family, because I'm gonna get bike. But go ahead.
So I run boot camps in the evenings and some mornings before I go into school to work with the kids. But aside from that, I'm just a life motivator. I work with people daily.
Right.
And outside of work.
Because you've been doing some motivational speaking stuff too. Right.
So I have my own independent gig.
Okay.
Spread Love ENT. That's my
thing. Give them the website or the links. You got any links for it?
You can follow me. I'm on YouTube, Corey Torres. I have some videos on there from some of my work. You can follow my IG page, Ice Body Trainer. You can also type in Corey Torres and find me on Instagram, or find me on Facebook, Jose Corey Torres. I'm on all different platforms.
But man, spread out. But the reason when I got here, I had to sit with him. I had to make it work. And God just makes it align so that we was able to link up at the right time.
That's right.
But I know that he's giving knowledge. I know that it's coming from his heart. I know that it's coming. I've been knowing this guy for a minute, bro. And I've seen the growth myself.
That's right.
And so, Family Vibes TV, I introduce you to Corey. You know what I'm saying? Life coach, trainer. You know what I'm saying? Extraordinaire. You know what I mean? Please get at him, family. We appreciate Corey. We appreciate you giving us your time,
too,
bro. It's all love.
It's all love, bro.
Man, catch the vibes, family.
Get me out of this house.
Hey, that's it. I'm leaving.
Taxi door.
On top, you even know me your name.
For too long, we've been force-fed the content that you have no control in choosing or creating. For too long, you've only had social media to share the content that you do create. VIBEZ TV has changed that. because of what you see, we are officially launching our own Roku and Amazon Fire channels. We have not created this for us alone. Whether you produce short films, full feature films, documentaries, podcasts, video interviews, we have a spot for you. We want to be a blessing. Send your content to the email address below for your opportunity to be a part of the VIBEZ TV network. Catch the vibes. Mountain Point High School, this where you from, bro?
Yeah, man, went to Mountain Point. Kind of shaped me as a person, man. I made a ton of friends here that I still talk with today and connect with and even do business with, man. And some of my best friends that I have right now, man, we're born.
And I know about being in the inner city way and then kind of being shipped off to, you know, a more cultured environment.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it.
You know what I'm saying? And it can be a culture shock, man, but being able to make the best out of it, I think that's crucial.
When I was going here, I was, you know, getting letters and stuff and thinking I was going to be playing on Sundays. That was my goal at the time, but, you know, everybody has a different road and God has a different plan for everybody, and his was to be involved in the NFL, but at the end of the day, that wasn't his goal for me. So, thankful for it, man, honestly. Just thankful for it.
You know, sometimes people don't, you look at high school years and you never think that it'll be, you know, lifelong choices, lifelong decisions that you make at this stage in your life, but it's obviously become that for you, man. Catch the vibes, VIBEZ TV, it's time. Catch the vibes, catch the vibes. Let's go, let's go. Yeah.
Can you catch the vibes? Catch the vibes. Can you catch the
vibes? I don't know if you're ready.
Can you catch the vibes?
What's going on, family? It's your guy, Chris D. As you know, we are always out here in the streets, vibing, meeting up with phenomenal people. As I told you earlier, I'm here with my man, D.J Johnson, CEO of Dawg Sports Agency. Listen, family, they are doing some amazing things for amazing people with amazing circumstances. So we're going to get a chance to really talk to my man, see how it's going. Hey, but stay locked. Catch the vibes, man. Just tell me, if you had to put it in words, who is DJ? Who is the CEO? Who is Dawg?
As a person, I'm a Gemini, so I got two different personalities.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord, family. Yeah. I know a couple.
So I think it's DJ the businessman who's serious, trying to get stuff done, you know, always about that action, as Marshawn used to say. And there's DJ, the uncle, the brother, you know, the son, always trying to make everybody laugh, playing around. So it's just two different personalities, and I try to, you know, tap into them both when I need to.
Which one gets the most attention, bro? Which one gets the most attention?
DJ the simple, man. My
man,
girl,
that's
she
good.
always mad at me because I'm always doing some jokes when I mess around with somebody. Yeah.
See, my wife, I'm sorry, Renee. My wife say I be too serious, bro, because I got two people too. But the one I usually show the most is the bro, like, yo, let's make it happen. Yeah. I need to find myself. I need to find myself.
Ain't nothing wrong with it, man. You gotta have people laugh and stuff. And I mean, everybody's so serious right now. You gotta absolutely gotta walk and laugh and smile. So you gotta take them wins and the losses, smile and win, smile and the losses.
But coming through this, man, you know, what you're doing now wasn't really what you expected, man. And so what were your dreams? What were you thinking at this point in your life?
Man, 16-year-old DJ, I got some letters from Boise State, University of Washington, had some attention from ASU, U of A. So when I was playing cornerback, you know, played under one of the best coaches in Arizona high school football history, Coach Carl Kiefer. And I thought my future was pretty much set, man. You know, I was playing ball and just knew I was going to play on Sundays. Buy my mama a big house.
Mama need a house. Mama
my
need
dad that boat, you know, set up my sisters and brothers, and you know, just basically ride off to the sunset, man. That's what I thought. But
so what ended up happening?
You know what? Honestly, and just looking back on it now, being a business owner and going to college, I wasn't taking academics too serious.
A lot of us are guilty of that.
I could blame other people and other things that came along, but honestly, my academics weren't in place because had I had what I needed to, I would have been at the University of Washington.
Absolutely.
But it was all my fault. I mean, my dad always talks about we probably could have been better with the cleaner house at that time and stuff, but we just didn't know.
You know, and it's big that you speak on that because that's a lot of our issues, you know, that we sometimes get so focused on what our vision is, what our dream is, that we kind of leave out the basics. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
You know, in that same token, we're able to see how life takes over and things turn into blessings. You said you did end up going to school.
Ended up going to school. Ended up having to go to junior college route, so I played a year at Phoenix College. Ended up getting a 4-year scholarship to Pearson College in Kansas. So McPherson was unique in the sense when I went there, they were the most losingest program in the conference, and they hadn't won in 50 years.
Wow.
After leaving there, we went on a 19 3 runs, so 19 wins in 2 years, only 3 losses.
Wow.
Conference champs. I was All-American, All-Conference player. But it was one of those things was that, you know, God places people in your life at the right time. And for me, going to McPherson was the best decision I ever made because small school and they really, really focus on academics. So if you know about University of Michigan, man, they're big time in business. And I got probably $60,000 education on a discount at McPherson being with my professor, Rod Gieselman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Shout out to him, man, for taking chances, man.
Yeah, I hope you see this, Rod. I gave you a shout out, man. I told you I'll get you one. I got you one.
It's happening. Definitely. But it's critical to have those people, man, in your life that not only see what you don't see in yourself, you know what I'm saying, but can see the vision ahead of time.
Well, it's funny though, because I was even going to Division II school, I still thought I was gonna make it to the NFL. And Rod just had to sit me down. He was like, "Look, man, like DJ football player is great. You're tremendous.
Yeah.
Like I know you can play football. I've seen you play Saturday after Saturday. My thing is I want to develop DJ the businessman.
Wow.
Because if you put the same work ethic like you do in the business that you're doing in sports, you're gonna be unstoppable. So once I had that conversation with Rod, this is coming from a guy that he worked for Boeing for like 15 years before he came to teach at school, and he had just a ton of business ventures that he was successful in. I was just happy for him to tell me that because I know, okay, if this guy's telling me that, then maybe I need to take this business a little bit more serious. And now I'm doing it.
It feels like true mentorship, though.
Yeah.
Like I think that's something that's lacking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To have somebody, because it wasn't just that he said it, right? It was the fact that you believed him.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we could tell a lot of people a lot of stuff. Man, you're going to be the greatest. You could be the president.
Yeah.
But they don't believe you.
It's that walk by faith, not by sight. And then also, you got to be willing to put in the work, man. And I think that's probably the biggest thing when I was coming here. I was doing things on the football field in off season, but when it came to the classroom, I just wasn't locked in enough.
Wow.
You know?
Wow. That's deep. And even speaking about some of the people who, you know, spoke into your life and inspired you, there's some people with you right now in these glory times, if we want to call them, right? that were from this point with you, that are still rocking with you.
Yeah,
Talk to me about some of those lifelong partners that make sure that the same DJ stays the same DJ.
Really probably my boys, man. I mean, so Marcus Wheaton, he went on to play NFL professionally. William Clay, he's an Olympic champion. He's actually, I think he holds the record still for the triple.
Yeah, shout out to Will Clay, killer stuff,
man,
bro.
he's doing some big things. My right-hand man, Jamil Hines, so Jamil is unique in the sense that he went to Chandler big time after as well. Now he's doing some things professionally in his career. My boy Krishan Reed, he's actually coaching Division I college football right now. And then,
Wow.
My boy Marquise Reed, man, he's a business guy too. We're the business guys of the group.
Yeah. I got to talk to Marquise. Is a serious, like, he's savvy as ever, but like,
Hey, I tell you,
the real deal, bro.
Hey, sharks are born swimming,
Boy.
And Marquise was hungry when he came.
Boy.
He's hungry, bro.
Boy.
Marquise was hungry.
He ain't
bro.
play. He
Yeah,
ain't
don't
play.
No games, man.
No, that's beautiful.
Zero
That's beautiful. Hey, family, we're going to get back into this conversation. Getting a little cloudy out here. We're going to take this thing on inside. Stay locked.
Get me out of this house.
Hey, that's it. I'm leaving.
Taxi door.
On top of even know me your name.
For too long, we've been force-fed the content that you have no control in choosing or creating. For too long, you've only had social media to share the content that you do create. VIBEZ TV has changed that. because of what you see, we are officially launching our own Roku and Amazon Fire channels. We have not created this for us alone. Whether you produce short films, full feature films, documentaries, podcasts, video interviews, we have a spot for you. We want to be a blessing. Send your content to the email address below for your opportunity to be a part of the VIBEZ TV network. Catch the vibes. She got Christy still sitting here with my man DJ. So we kind of made it back in. It was getting hot out there, a little toasty. We are in AZ, getting a little humid, which is rare, but it's all good. So let's kind of talk about, you know what I mean, your transition. So you went through college, went through high school, went through college, and now we're kind of looking at, you know, starting this sports agency.
So I always knew I wanted to be in sports. I just didn't know in what capacity. Just on my birthday, I think I might have been 26 at the time. So I'm in Hawaii, like nice view, beautiful view and everything. And I woke up and I'm just like, only thing I could think about is like, I don't want to go back to work. Not because I was in Hawaii, but just because I didn't like what I was doing.
Man, we've been there, fam.
You know what I'm saying? So I didn't like what I was doing. So the interesting thing is like, you know, like with my boys kind of always being around sports, both of them were blessed to go and play professional. Dope. I had been kind of consulting them on a few things and like, I knew I had the mind for it. So my original plan was to actually become a NFL certified sports agent. But talking to my mentor, he kind of set me down like, hey DJ, like, I know you want to do the NFL agent thing, but here's what I'm thinking you'll be great at. There's a niche, there's a need for people to do marketing. There's not a lot of guys that know what they're doing. And if you look at the numbers, there's a ton of guys that are average careers like 3 years NFL, 7 years in NBA. A lot of those guys are being missed when it comes to off the field or off the court endorsements. He was like, I think you can really capitalize on that. So sat down with him, was like, hey, I'm gonna start doing this sports marketing agent. And from there, I just didn't look back, man. Like I worked with one of my clients, one of my best friends, Will Clay, did some stuff with him. And then from there, started to go sign guys and shit, now we're here, man.
Man, I think it's important that you hit back on that point. Man, I went back to my mentorship and I received what he had to say. Again, being able to believe the vision that somebody else seeing you,
yeah,
I think was huge.
I was just so stuck on like NFL, football. And my mentor was like, football's great, but let's think, and this is, I didn't even have a company on paper at the time. He's like, let's think global. Let's think soccer. Let's think boxing. Let's think rugby. Wow. Let's think polo. Like
even comes to this interview, I wasn't thinking that deep. Like rugby, polo.
It's like if it's professional, we can market it. So that's the great thing about it.
Other than the whole show me the money moment, right, from Jerry Maguire with the sports agent, people don't really understand like the difference or what sports agents actually do, especially the difference between what you do and what they think a traditional sports agent is about.
I still consider myself a sports agent because we still got to recruit, still got to talk to mom and dad, still got to talk to coaches and trainers, still got to make connections with colleges because the challenge that I had when I first came into this industry was everyone was saying, oh yeah, we have my agent does my marketing. But when you look on paper, it's like, well, how much marketing is he doing for you? Because I don't see anything and I don't see any dollars coming through. Even from a branding standpoint, you're not even doing anything for free. So like, what marketing is he doing? So I got on the road, started recruiting guys, using social media to kind of leverage what we were doing, reaching out to parents and players that I knew that were coming up within the ranks. So when we started doing that, it's just the typical thing that a sports agent does. You gotta be good with coach. You know, you gotta be good with mom and dad and grandma, and a lot of times whoever their mentor or influencer is in their circle. You gotta know all that stuff because when they're making decisions, that comes down to, okay, we trust what this guy DJ is saying. We fact checked everything, and while your agent is saying this, I really believe DJ can help us when it comes to this branding thing because everything's moving to the digital space, man.
These traditional. I'm able to do what your traditional agent was doing, plus some, because they're not actually offering you that marketing piece. They may be farming it out to another company or to another conglomerate. It's kind of being taken over by these conglomerates, big organizations with these big dollars, sending guys out that look like you, right? But they actually report back to somebody that...
So, and that's a big selling point for us. It's like, you know, there is no like chain of commandment. Like when I come sit down and talk to you, it's me that you're going to report back to. You don't have to answer. I don't have to answer nobody. You don't have to do it. however your agency is telling you to do it. And a lot of these guys were just like really unhappy with their marketing because when you're not genuine and it's not organic, people can see that. Fans can feel it.
Absolutely.
So it's like, I always feel bad for guys when they get in trouble. It's like, man, why is he doing that? That's out of his character. It probably isn't,
right?
Because he's been trying to put on this perfect face, and
Absolutely.
we all know nobody's perfect. And you're going to eventually mess up if you're not doing something that's
It's going to show everything in the dark. Everything in the
comes
dark.
to light.
What were some of the major challenges that you saw, like right out of the gate, trying to get into this field? Like some of the things holding you back, you felt?
Being young, like a lot of guys are like, oh, you're young. Like, you probably don't know what you're doing. Like, you just started this thing out. Like, how exactly are you going to help me? But like I tell everybody, and this is my biggest thing, I really do believe it. I'm like, hey, man, like, the best talent is found in the world at Apollo on amateur night. So,
how do you think race played a factor in like getting into these?
Well, it's one of those things I don't see color, but I know it's there. So, everybody's always looking like, well, how are you financing stuff, and how do you really go about this?
Exactly.
How are you making things grow? Like what exactly is going on?
You don't have Big Brother behind you, so what are you doing? Yeah,
so it's just one of those things. You gotta, and I'm always transparent about things. So I always tell mom, like, hey, this is what we got going on. This is why we want your son. This is why we need him for the time being, and just letting them know, like, hey, man, I'm not here to take from your kid. We're only here to help him. And at the end of the day, it's good for the sport because there's not a lot of black representation for these players, and with NFL being what is predominantly black, same thing with NBA. I mean, other races do it all the time, man.
Absolutely.
They work with their own. And not saying that I wouldn't. I mean, I work with everybody.
Absolutely, and we saw that.
Yeah, but it's one of those things. It's just like you got to be able to be open-minded to the fact that, hey, it's there, but I'm not going to use it as an excuse for why I can't get to where I'm trying to go.
So you don't think that it's had any impact on the success or the progress that Top Dawg has been able to make?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I'm 29 years old. And I'm an owner of a sports company, and I mean, I'm going against sharks, man. They got deep pockets,
right?
To be honest, they got deep pockets. But at the end of the day, my thing is, I always knew that I knew what I was doing. And I'm talking to NFL guys, NBA guys, baseball guys, like, man, you guys have a really great concept. Like, keep doing it, because I really believe in the next few years, the traditional agent to player like model is going to be like wiped out.
Wow.
So you won't have your agents where like, oh, I'm an NFL agent, or I'm an MLB agent, NBA agent. It's just going to be, guys are going to be representing themselves. Same thing with music. People kept getting gypped off so much time with the music.
Record labels are dying.
I'm going to go ahead and just go independent with it.
Absolutely.
And now you got the platform to do it. So we're probably at the forefront. People don't know it yet.
Talk to us about that. Talk to us about how Top Dawg is at the forefront of a new way of sports agency and marketing.
Yeah, so man, honestly, with social media, with it being so big now and everything being in the digital space, we can go to a kid. Perfect example, LeVar Ball, he's crazy to me.
He's a genius,
insane,
though.
But his son has 1.1 million followers.
Absolutely.
He was able to create a shoe for him.
Absolutely.
So we can go to high school guys and say, hey, I know you have a great social media following. Allow us to work on your brand for you. There's nothing that the NCAA says about that. We can help them work on their brand, helping them build that platform, get them a logo created. They might want to do a camp, because at the end of the day, you got to be thinking about it. These guys are playing a tough sport, even if it's like martial arts or basketball, whatever it is, it can be gone like that.
Absolutely.
So my biggest thing is what I tell my clients, say, let us create a platform for you, where even if this goes bad, you can still have something to capitalize on. That way you're not feeling like you're being used.
That's an interesting point, kind of being prepared before you even know you have to be prepared.
Yeah.
So most parents won't think, man, my high school kid is a standout athlete. He's an all American, all pro, all city, whatever. He needs to be branded. He needs to be. Talk to us about parents who may not understand that branding at this age isn't a cliche or a taboo. That it's actually something that's out here.
I think if you know where you want your son or daughter, whoever it is, to go, and you know they're going to be at that top level, then you should start thinking about what you can do for them after the sport. And that's the biggest thing. It's just like, parents have to realize that nowadays, this is not like when we play. Like, I think about all the guys when we were going here, like Michael Moore. He was one of the best running backs in the state at the time, and won Arizona Player of the Year. But there was no social media back then. There was like MySpace, but people weren't really on it.
Right.
So now, if you can be on it at an early age, and guys don't have to deal with the NCAA like blocking them, not making them off their likeness. Parents should really tap into that, and it's just like if you're a parent and you're not, some kids might not want to do it. They might feel like, hey, I don't want to be in front of camera, I don't want to be doing too much. But most kids, man,
Most kids are going.
they're into it, man. You
Absolutely.
get them a highlight tape with some cool music behind it, them
Absolutely.
working out, they'll eat it up all day, every day.
Absolutely, and it's great branding, and it's great.
Great.
It's great for the sport.
Yeah.
It's great for the sport. I think that's dope. Hey, family, definitely getting some knowledge that you may not have expected from a man DJ, but we're gonna keep getting to it. Stay locked, stay tuned. Catch the vibe. Welcome back, family. Still here with my man DJ Johnson, CEO, Top Dawg Sports Agency. And so, just moving on with our conversation, man. One thing I did want to ask that I kind of been looking at was, do you feel like that black players, that they feel like they don't get the best hand from black agents? Do you think that they feel like that the white counterparts are able to negotiate within those circles better than we would be able to for?
I mean, it's a tough thing to talk about, but when I'm looking at the landscape of the NFL, I know a lot of black agents that are doing great things. I know a lot of black agents that own their agency that are doing great things as independent agents. But I think it just starts from, it's just a perception. And I think as being a black business owner, that's something that I try to pride myself on. Like, hey, we're going to do business the right way. We're not going to take any shortcuts. And then if you take shortcuts, it'll come back and bite you. So as we grow and as we're doing stuff and people are seeing what we're doing, we're like, hey, I trust this guy. I don't care if he could be purple.
And I was just had another interview out in Wisconsin, and I was talking to a black business owner, and he was saying that, listen, I represent my whole race.
Yeah.
And I asked him, like, are you sure? Like, is that true? And when you really think about these scenarios and you're trailblazing a path, you represent, because that's the idea that they have. Black sports agents or black business owners in this realm. So how do you kind of make sure that you're navigating that path, of responsibility? Because I do think it's kind of a responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I told my VP the other day, I was like telling him, like, hey man, I know what I'm carrying is a big burden. I don't expect you to carry that same burden. Like, I knew what I was getting myself into when I was like, I'm looking around at all these agencies that I could be involved with, and I'm talking about going off to the left, doing something one that has never been done really from a marketing standpoint with clients, and kind of shaking up and disturbing the industry. Like, you don't got to carry that burden. Like, let me carry it. You can be a part of what we're doing, but I know what I got to do. So I always knew that when I started this company, how hard it was going to be, but I also was just like, you know what, man, I'm doing this for the next generation that's going to come through the door. So if there's a kid right now who might be playing football, or he might not be playing football, I'm playing basketball or some kind of other sport that he loves business and he loves sports and he wants to get involved in it, but doesn't want to become the traditional agent, because like I tell guys all the time, like, when you become an agent and you're specifically the one sport, you need to be an expert in that area. So our biggest thing is where we win as the relationship side. So I can talk to guys on a day-to-day basis about their vision of what they want to put out to the world. Agents can't do that. They don't have that same time and luxury. They got to be recruiting the next guy that's going to come in. So from that standpoint, it's just like, hey man, whoever's coming behind me, I want to make sure I'm doing the best thing that I can to make that door that's already left open. They can just walk through it easy. Yeah, they don't have to go through the same thing I went through.
That's deep. That's deep. I think, and before I even actually leave you, I don't think that most, especially inner city kids, right? When we're thinking about sports, we aren't thinking about being the guy like you. We aren't thinking about being the agent. We aren't thinking about being the guy that markets this kind of stuff. We normally look at it from, man, I want to be the guy on the field. I want to be the guy playing. And once that dream is over, the whole concept of having anything to do with it for a lot of them is over. Yeah. So if you can hand out one piece of advice to the youngsters that may be watching this, that, man, they have a career in sports right now, but like you said, they do have a business side. What advice would you give them to pursuing their dreams?
Man, I would honestly, man, like, I'm a Kobe Bryant fan at heart. Like, I love.
I don't like Kobe.
Man, Kobe.
I don't like Kobe. I like Kobe playing.
That's a debate for another day.
Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
And I think what really opened my eyes, I see a lot of guys that are in these inner circles, because I'm talking to guys all the time, and I see they have all these friends and stuff, right? And I think that's one thing I took for granted about our circle. Like, we all have our own things going on, and when you're in it, you just think it's normal. Like, I mean, my boy plays in NFL. Like, and we grew up together, riding bikes, playing, they're all that. Right. So, like, that's one thing I respect so much about LeBron James, is he gave his boys a chance. And so I would just tell a kid, if you know you're around great people, one, stay in their good graces. So don't
Integrity.
get integrity. Like don't get in trouble. Like it's funny because people are always like, oh well, DJ only does this because his boys play in NFL or his boy does track. Funny thing is, Will or Tay, they're not my clients.
Right. They got their own.
They got their own thing, and I wouldn't make my own name. But being around them, like they're not going to be around you if you smoking and drinking and partying, doing too much. Like you got to stay on your own path and walk that straight and narrow, because at the end of the day, you never know where it's going to go. So if I was, even like telling a young me, I would tell, one, be patient. Two, realize the bigger picture. And three, it's like, everything is relevant in the sense of, if you want to be in sports, if you ask for it, you should receive it. So I wanted to be in sports, and I'm in sports.
Yeah.
It wasn't the way I thought it was going to be.
Right.
I went to the NFL draft this last past April. Like crazy.
Yeah. So telling us about what Top Dawg is on now. Like, what's the future looking like? What's next for DJ? What's next for Top
We've
Dawg?
been growing so rapidly. Like, I can't even tell you what's next. Because it's just like every time we think like, oh, we're only going to be in football for this year from year 2 to year 5. Next thing you know, we just got, probably we're talking right now, one of the biggest boxers. He's one of the youngest kids to ever fight professional.
Wow.
His name is Gabriel Flores.
Wow.
So it's just like, we don't know where it's going, but I know at the end of the day what we want to build is we want to create great content for guys to have. We want to work with good companies and help them create good content. And in doing that, people are going to want to work with us, whether it be in marketing and even in business. Like I tell guys, you got to run yourself as a corporation. So when you realize that,
break that down for us, though, dude. And I know we closing out, family.
No, it's all good.
You just hit on a huge point that I think a lot of people don't understand. Running yourself like a corporation.
Yeah. So when I say running yourself as a corporation, like I tell guys, they're like, oh, you know what? I want my mom to be manager. I want my dad to be manager. Okay, that's great. So are you going to pay him a salary or just going to give him money?
Right.
Oh, well, I don't know yet. I want to do this camp. So are you going to do a nonprofit or not? So those are the kind of things I'm telling guys. Like when you're talking about a corporation, all their paperwork is right. So it's like, don't just be out here spending money, not doing things. And I think that's one of the biggest things I respect about my cousin Marcus is he's took his platform with football and he's in day trading. He's in real estate. It's just like, you don't have to just be an athlete. But I think guys get so caught up in, and honestly, a lot of these agencies are telling them like, hey man, just focus on football. All the other stuff will be there.
Oh, of course they will. Of course.
And I get it. That's they want them to make sure that their cash cow is still coming in. But my thing is like, hey man, think of yourself as a brand, and the sky's the limit. Like you look at what LeBron has put in place.
Right.
I mean, his right hand man, Rich Paul, he has like 5 guys that play under LeBron.
Right.
So LeBron's partnering with that agency, playing with guys, and getting a piece of that check every time they renegotiate a contract.
Absolutely. That's crazy. And the big part about it is too, is like outside of these football contracts, baseball, basketball contracts they have, there's the brand of yourself.
Yeah.
That's valuable and it has value, and people are capitalizing on it every day.
Yeah. I think if you know that, like I look at a guy like Johnny Manziel, even though he had his struggles, I think one thing he was great about, he knew that his name carried weight, and he created a hoodie with a 2 on the back. And he was selling it. So even though he wasn't playing football at the time, he was still creating that revenue where he didn't feel like football took advantage of him.
Wow. Yeah, and it will. It will. I've met quite a few players, quite a few people who feel like football took advantage of them or basketball took advantage of them. Part of it, their fault, because, like you said earlier, they weren't preparing for afterwards. They was listening to those people that said, oh, that'll be there when you get there. But as we know, technology, the world is changing. So what's happening 2 years from now won't even be relevant. Yeah. And so it's a fine line to balance. So I'm excited, man, to see everything that Top Dawg is doing, man, and that you're doing personally, bro. I really appreciate, you sitting down to take the time with us, man, to talk about it, because what we really want to talk about, fam, is people that are doing things in integrity, people that are doing things with the right heart, with the right intentions, and people that want to give back, man. Oh, yeah. And it's evident, because in this game, you could really be a shark about it. You know what I mean?
You can, but that's, like we were talking about earlier about the bigger agencies and what they've been capitalizing. They've been capitalizing on, I got to get it by any means necessary. And I always was under the belief that we'll get the clients we're supposed to get. They'll understand it. We won't have to force it.
I always say, what's for me is for me.
Yeah, and it's not like one of those things where I'm just like, I'm not passive by any means.
No.
But my thing is, if I have to keep stressing you the importance of building your brand and talking about your life after your sport, then you just might not be ready for what we got to offer.
You don't even get it.
You don't get it yet, which is fine. Like, it's totally fine. There's no love lost there.
Right.
So when guys understand that, that's when things go to the next level, you know?
That's huge. That's huge. Hey, family, we gonna get ready to get out of here. DJ, I appreciate you spending some time with us. Family, if you're not already, follow, subscribe. Make sure you're hitting up Top Dawg Sports Agency with my man DJ. You want to give him any links, any shout outs?
So you can find us on Instagram, TDSA16, and then my Instagram is DJacko2. Follow us on all platforms, man. We're just happy to be doing what we're doing, and we're looking forward to growing.
Hey, man, this is gonna be huge, man. I think I know my man been real modest right now, family. But it's a whole lot more in store. Family, stay locked, stay tuned, catch the vibes. We love you. Get you one, hit us up, we got them.
Yo, what up? You live and direct. This is MC Nice, and you watching Vibe TV in the building.
Jordan, it's kind of low.